what it means to be a man of God. In a world where masculinity is often defined by societal norms, cultural expectations, and personal achievements, we need to remind ourselves of the biblical standard for manhood. As men, we are called to be leaders, providers, and protectors. But what does it mean to be a leader who follows Christ? What does it mean to provide for our families in a way that honors God? And what does it mean to protect our loved ones with the strength and courage that comes from the Lord? In the next few minutes, we'll be exploring 4 key characteristics of a man of God, a man of prayer, a man of integrity, a man of service, and a man of faith. These are not just abstract concepts or ideals. They are concrete, practical, and essential qualities that every man who follows Christ should strive to embody. Let's explore what it means to be a man of God, and let's commit ourselves to living out these qualities in our daily lives. A man of God is a man of prayer. As men of God, we are called to prioritize prayer in our lives. Prayer is not just a ritual or a habit. It's a vital connection with our Heavenly Father. In Matthew 6:5-13, Jesus teaches us how to pray, emphasizing the importance of sincerity, humility, and persistence. We see examples of men in the Bible who prioritize prayer. Daniel, for instance, prayed 3 times a day, even when it was forbidden by the king. David, too, was a man of prayer, often pouring out his heart to God in the Psalms. As men of God, we should strive to make prayer a non-negotiable part of our daily lives. We should pray for guidance, wisdom, strength, and protection. We should pray for our families, our communities, and our world. Let's make a commitment to prioritize prayer in our lives. Let's start each day with a conversation with God, seeking His guidance and wisdom. A man of God is a man of integrity. Integrity is a vital characteristic of a man of God. It means being honest, trustworthy, and transparent in all our dealings. In Proverbs 10:9, we read, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out." We see examples of men in the Bible who demonstrated integrity. Joseph, for instance, resisted the temptation to sin with Potiphar's wife, even when it meant suffering the consequences. Job, too, maintained his integrity despite facing unimaginable suffering and loss. As men of God, we should strive to live with integrity in all areas of our lives. We should be honest in our business dealings, faithful in our relationships, and transparent in our actions. Let's make a commitment to live with integrity even when it's hard. Let's be men who can be trusted, men who will stand by our word, and men who will honor God in all we do. A man of God is a man of service. As men of God, we are called to serve others. Service is not just about doing good deeds. It's about living a life that honors God and blesses others. In Matthew 20:26-28, Jesus teaches us that true greatness is not about seeking power or prestige, but about serving others. We see examples of men in the Bible who served others. Jesus, of course, is the ultimate example of a servant leader. He came to serve, not to be served, and he calls us to follow his example. Paul, too, was a man of service. He dedicated his life to spreading the gospel and serving the early Christian communities. As men of God, we should strive to serve others in our families, communities, and world. We should look for opportunities to volunteer, to help those in need, and to bless those around us. Let's make a commitment to serve others with humility and joy. Let's be men who will put others before ourselves, who will listen to their needs, and who will serve them with love and compassion. A man of God is a man of faith. As men of God, we are called to live by faith. Faith is not just about believing in God, it's about trusting Him with our lives. In Hebrews 11:1-3, we read, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." We see examples of men in the Bible who demonstrated faith. Abraham, for instance, trusted God's promise to make him the father of many nations, even when it seemed impossible. Moses, too, demonstrated faith when he led the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. He trusted God's promise to deliver them, even when the situation seemed hopeless. As men of God, we should strive to live by faith, trusting God with our lives, our families, and our futures. We should trust His sovereignty, His goodness, and His love. Let's make a commitment to live by faith, even when it's hard. Let's be men who will trust God's promises, who will obey His commands, and who will follow His leading, no matter where it takes us. In conclusion, being a man of God is not just about attending church or reading the Bible. It's about living a life that reflects the character of Christ. It's about being a man of prayer, integrity, service, and faith. As we close, I want to leave you with a challenge. Let us commit ourselves to living out these qualities in our daily lives. Let us strive to be men who will prioritize prayer as the foundation of our relationship with God. Live with integrity, even when it's hard or unpopular. Serve others with humility and joy. Trust God with our lives, our families, and our futures. If we will commit to living out these qualities, I have no doubt that we will see a transformation in our lives, our families, and our communities. We will become the men God has called us to be, men of prayer, integrity, service, and faith. Let us rise to the challenge, brothers. Let us become the men of God we were created to be. May God bless and empower us on this journey.